Hello and welcome again to another video by Econo Insight. This video will discuss economic development, and not only the definition of it, but a conceptual overview of it. So in this video, I'm not going to directly give you a definition of what economic development is, like what other textbooks does, but for you to really get the essence of what economic development is, we should first ponder what questions do we come across when thinking about economic development. Maybe, before knowing the definition, some of you might say, what aspects differentiate developed countries and less developed countries? So aspects that differentiate. I'm going to write it down here. Is it probably the rate of urbanization? Maybe one country is more urbanized and hence they're more developed. Or maybe there's a higher per capita growth rate in their certain country. Or maybe some of you might look at the level of pollution. Some of you might look at the share of international trade. Which economy is more open, for instance? So that's one one thing you can ponder about. Maybe some of you might ponder about what is actually meant by development, right? Does it refer to developing economies? Is it transitional economies? What is it? Maybe some of you might ask, who benefits from economic growth? Benefits from economic growth. Is it towards a particular group? Is it the rich, the poor? Maybe one of you might ask, whom is the policy made for? Is it bias? So these are the kinds of questions that we could think about when thinking about economic development. Note that economic development has a variety of definitions. And the most important thing, though, to note is that economic development, it differs, right? It differs from economic growth. So these two terms, right, are different. How is it different? Economic growth simply means growth in the real output. So growth in GDP, which is GDP is the real output. Well, economic development is something a little different. Again, there are many definitions, but I'm going to give you a definition which is widely used today, can be implemented today. One definition, a handy definition, is that we should look at development as a basic process of meeting basic human needs today and in the future, right? And also while keeping environmental sustainability in mind. So this is as a definition that could go into economic development. Second is this first definition is a definition by Patrice Franco. The second definition, although it has sort of a similar ring to it, they define economic development as raising people's living levels. And how do they achieve this? They achieve this by the establishment of social, political, and economic systems that promote human dignity and respect, and increasing people's freedom by enlarging the range of their choice variables. So in essence, it's about raising people's living levels and giving them dignity and respect. So this is the essence of economic development: dignity and respect to people, raising people's living standards, meeting basic needs of people. So because of this, then we should make sure that we should not be magnetized by economic growth. Some countries, they should just only see, hey, our GDP is growing by this rate, it's higher than yours. So we should not be magnetized by economic growth. We should consider economic development on how that growth is actually distributed, right? Who is benefiting? Are we giving people respect? Are we raising people's living standards? The poor, are we lifting them out of poverty? That is what we should consider. And if you want to research more about economic development, and we will discuss in this channel, is that there are many pioneers in thinking about economic development. They include Rao Prebisch, which played a big role in determining the development policy, the state development policy of Latin America. There is Anne Kruger, and there is also Arthur Lewis. These are just some of the many names in economic development. But if you want to research more, this could be a start. So that's all about economic development. I hope this video helps, and thank you for watching.